Hey, I've been doing my job teaching anatomy at Swansea University for 21 and a half years. And now we're in October, we've got a whole bunch of fresh students. We teach kind of postgraduate courses, like medicine is you have to have a degree to done it. It's a graduate entry medicine course. Physician Associates is a master's programme, so you need a degree. Which means that if you leave school at 18, you do a degree that takes you 3 years. You're 21 years old, and then you can start one of our degrees, which means that I have been doing my current job longer than some of my students have been alive for, which is an interesting feeling.
Does that make you feel old?
I don't know. It's very grey today, isn't it?
Yeah, very misty, hazy.
Hardest bit about the routes we're doing today is getting to them. It's just a bit awkward. It's quite a long scramble. It's not so much that it makes me feel old. What I feel now, which is tricky as a teacher, is now that I feel quite a long way away from that new learner experience. What is it like for my students to study anatomy for the first time? What are their problems? What are their difficulties? I take so much for granted. How can I make sure I'm teaching well? So, although I've been doing it forever, instead of my confidence increasing, I mean, certain areas of my confidence is increasing, but my confidence in doing a good job decreases. But there are some things I can do to manage that. Get around there now. It's a risk as a teacher, assuming the people you're trying to teach already understand this thing or know this thing. I'm sure we've all experienced it. I teach such a wide range of students because they've already done degrees. Some of them do know stuff and some of them don't know stuff, but I try to take the perspective that, well, a low assumption of knowledge, bring everybody in, explain the topic properly, and then lift up the level of knowledge. Because if students already know this stuff, when you're telling them stuff they already know, they don't seem to mind that. They think, oh, great, I already know this stuff. That's less work for me to do. But I try to do that so that we all get to the same point. I'm not leaving people behind. I know what it's like when people assume you know stuff and they start teaching you stuff above your level. You just don't get it, right? So part of what I do, of course, is reflection. And talking to my students and trying to find out, did that make sense? Did you understand that? But it's often difficult for students to be honest about that. So I like to keep learning stuff that I find difficult. I'm learning French and German, largely using Duolingo, also watching French and German Twitch streams and YouTube channels and stuff a little bit. And I'm really bad at it, which is great because that reminds me what it's like to find something difficult to learn. Another good teaching method generally is chunk check. So teach a chunk and then do a little test, check that your students have understood what you were saying. I do this in embryology lectures using Kahoot, and it's very helpful because a lot of the time I've no idea if what I said made sense. If they do well in the Kahoot, great. Like I taught the reproductive and renal system to the second years in one of their early weeks. Last year I did it, they did not do very well in their Kahoot. They did not do very well in the chunk part, the check part of my chunk check. So I changed what I did. And this year they did a lot better, which means I explained it better. Although they're brighter students, of course. But, you know, you take what you can from these measurements, way. But students that are new to anatomy, well, when you're a new student and you're learning with a group of new people, you feel like everybody knows more than you do, but that's usually not true. You feel like you need to know everything now, which is also not true. Whichever way you break up medicine or anatomy, it's wrong when you try and teach it, because you think, oh, I wish I'd known this before this, I wish I'd known that before that, but you can't do it that way. So you've got to be patient. I've got to be patient because I love explaining everything to everybody, but I have to be patient and think, that's going to be too much. Let's just explain the stuff that they need. You just need to learn the bits you need to learn this week. If you've got a syllabus for the course that you're on, you can look to the future, you can see what's coming up, and you can see that, oh, I don't need to do that now, I don't need to know that now, we're going to do that in the future. When you're reading a book, when you're kind of, not the students read books anymore, when you're reading around a topic, there feels like there's so much, but you don't need to know it all now. Bit by bit, take as much as you can. You've got a full year or 2 years, and it'll slowly grow and build together. And you're going to come back and revise this. You're going to come back and review it and read it again, right? So if it's not all going in now, don't worry, that's fine. It'll all hopefully knit together later. And as you've got more blocks of knowledge, those blocks of knowledge will come together, and it'll be easier to build that picture of the full body. Ah, we're there. So patience. If you knew everything right now, what am I here for? If you know everything right now, why are you studying a course at university? We made it. We made it. Something else I do is a weekly 5-minute podcast. It's called Dissectible Me, if you haven't seen it yet. And yeah, I'm limited to 5 minutes on whatever topic I want to talk about that week. And the purpose of that is, one, like, if you haven't got time to do the pre-reading, if you haven't got time to watch the video, if you haven't got time to do lots of things and listen to an hour-long podcast, you've got time to listen to a 5-minute podcast which will explain something to you very briefly, and you'll have heard the words and the ideas before. So the idea is that it's useful from that perspective. But the other thing, for me as a teacher, it's very useful because I have to think, ooh, I could talk about this for an hour, but what do they really need to know? I've only got 5 minutes. What do I really need to pick out? So it's either the most important ideas, the most complicated ideas, or the most clinically relevant ideas, and then it gets really, really stripped down to, this is what you really need to know, and then you can go and build on that. And of course I cheat, because I might talk about a whole system in 5 minutes, then we'll talk about lots of different bits of that system in future 5-minute chunks, and but you get the idea. But that is a really good exercise for me, in terms of me worrying about getting too far away from being the new learner. I now really have to put myself in the position of that new learner and think, what do they really need to know at this point? So go check it out. I don't know, I haven't looked at the tide, no idea what it's doing. Because we're not at a tidal crag, I didn't bother looking it up.
Looks like it's fairly high. Not sure if it's still on its way in or not.
So there you go, you think, oh, Sam's been doing this forever, it must be super easy for him, and some aspects do become easier, and some aspects become more difficult, not things I ever expected to become more difficult. I remember when I started this job saying, ooh, I've got the hang of it after 10 years. Probably took 20 years. Yeah, so again, if you're trying to learn anatomy, after 20 years I feel like I've got to grips with it. Teaching it every week. Right, let's do some climbing. We're also kind of watching out for seals and porpoise and stuff. I was just saying to Kim how it's really dry again now after the storms have gone through, and now would be a great time of year to climb those hard routes that we've been meaning to tick. I just can't be arsed. It's I haven't got the energy. It feels like, oh, I don't know. It feels like too much work. There's no reason. I don't need to climb hard. Don't need to make an effort. Yeah, you see people climbing all these amazing routes. You think, yeah, I should go and do those awesome routes, moves. And the weekend comes and
knackered. Worn out.
Haven't got the energy. It's so easy. He says, when he gets to the plank bit. Oh, you got your chalk bag on today.
I know. Get that.
Has it got chalk in it?
Yep.
I think this is a really great crag as a learn to climb crag. This is Utopia slabs. It was new last year. Danny and John put this together, found it, cleaned it up, found the roots, bolted it. It's got some really easy roots over there. Well, I say 4s, it's mostly 5s, a few 6s. But the bolting's really nice and friendly. The rock's really pretty solid now. It's really high friction. But what is it like as a new climber? I don't remember. Like, this is really relaxing for me, but it's about 15 meters, so there's some nice height. I remember that, you know, leading can be a bit scary as you're getting above your gear, but see what I mean? I don't remember what it's like to be a new climber, because I've been doing that for 30 years. Started climbing and anatomy at university around the same time. How was that?
Oh, good. It's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice to be back on the limestone.
Yeah, really nice. It's sharp, isn't it? You forget you get into that crack.
Yeah. If you do want 5-minute anatomy podcast on top of all the other stuff I make, do a search for Dissectible Me podcast.com. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on Google, you know, it's on all the things. I'll put a link to it somewhere. There's a link to it on my website as well, samwebster.net. Anyway, yeah, I often think I don't do this the right way, do I? I don't think, ooh, what will get me promoted? I think, ooh, what will be useful for students and learning. And that's not the way to get promoted. You want to get promoted anyway, I want to do more climbing. Right, we're gonna work our way along here and hope that the sun comes out, and see you guys next week, maybe